So this question says, explain why this article can be viewed as being relevant to the cognitive approach and support your answer with evidence from the source, so from the scenario that they've given you on the leading questions. Um, if it says relevant to the cognitive approach, you need to be talking about the assumptions. So what does that approach actually assume about behaviour? So you've already mentioned those when you outlined what the concept of the cognitive approach was. So earlier on in the paper you might have already put it. Um, so you kind of so basically assumption is that behaviour is caused by internal mental processes such as memory and things like that. And then this is linked to the article because it's on about memory and it being affected and distorted by leading questions, and give an example of a quote that supports that. Um, Try to use the kind of things that are said rather than this bit. But if you want to use this bit, you can, but it's better if you use kind of like the quotes and things like that, things that are said. I think the mark scheme says, yeah, here we go. The cognitive area believes internal mental processes are important factors influencing human behaviour. So start off with the assumption. That makes the most sense. Talk about the assumption first, then link it to the article. The above source can be seen as relevant as the cognitive area because it shows how leading questions can bias a certain response from a witness. Memory is an example of an internal mental process. You go into more detail there. And witnesses, when asked to recall events, can have their memory distorted through the use of leading questions. In the source, the witness may not truly remember the speed the car was travelling at, but because the question was asked, was it travelling over 40 miles per hour, it could have distorted the witness's memory of the event and biased their response. That's quite a detailed answer with just the one assumption, and the mark scheme's credited it. Just to cover yourself, I would really talk about two of the assumptions, and I would probably try and put two pieces of evidence in as well. You've got time to do it, so 4 minutes is enough time to kind of do that. Um, but if you want to write it like this instead and go into more detail, you can do that. But this way is more difficult because if you basically the marks can usually credit an in-depth answer on one thing or a less detailed answer on more than one thing, if that makes sense. So if you put both assumptions in and both um, quotes in about it, and then you kind of explain it as well, then you'll be covering yourself in all avenues and you'll get all the marks for it.